All right. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the June 17th Board of Education meeting. Ms. Reed, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Gardner?
Here.
Mrs. McAvina is absent. Mrs. Opaskar?
Here.
Mr. Sherbin is absent. Mr. Stobie?
Here. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Dr. Debe, do we have any curriculum report tonight?
Just a quick update on a couple of items. When we sent out the information on the change in the full-day kindergarten registration, we have gone from 87 full-day to 99, and we have 55 half-days, so we're up to 154 in kindergarten registration. Our portal is closed right now until after July 4th for new registration, so that'll be opening back up in July, but we had about a week or so where we had several families move from half-day to full-day as a result of that communication.
What was the total capacity? 120 was it, or
For full-day, we still have one spot at Westview, 7 at Eastview, and 13 left at Redwood.
So there's still 20.
So there's still
21
there's
spots.
still 21 spots left.
Thank you.
Sure. We had quite a few really positive events to close out the school year. We had a lot of special events, concerts, performances at all of the schools. We had several closing events at Erie View that were very well attended and gave the community and the students and the parents a chance to celebrate the building. We had training already for our new social studies curriculum for all of our teachers. As you might remember, in the beginning of the year, we had the science of reading requirement. I'm happy to say out of our teaching staff, we are 100% compliant. Every single certified teacher completed the training. This summer, we have some busy things going on. We do have some professional development going on, but probably the biggest things, Dr. Lawver's department, we have 15 internal moves within buildings of people staying in their building but moving to a different location. And then we have 37 external moves where somebody is moving from one building, the majority of those from Erie View, to additional buildings. And we are busy already planning for the start of next school year. Our opening day keynote speaker is going to be Ron Yantz, and Ron and I have been working on what he will be delivering for our keynote on opening day. And that is pretty much my report right now.
Okay. Did we have anyone sign up for public participation tonight?
We did not.
Okay. All right, with that, I will go to the next item on the agenda, which is the approval and the signing of the minutes for the May 20th meeting. Did anyone have any questions with those minutes?
No.
Can I have a motion to approve the minutes from the May 20th meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Roll, please.
Mrs. Gardner?
Yes.
Mrs. Opaskar?
Yes.
Mr. Stobie?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Dr. Debe, before we get into the rest of our business meeting with the treasurer's consent item, if you could kind of maybe touch on some things going on in Columbus that we're talking about, I'd like to update everyone on that.
Sure. So House Bill 335 is one that looks at eliminating inside millage. And unfortunately for Avon Lake, if that were to pass, that would be a $6.3 million a year hit. I wrote a letter to each of our representatives and as well as the sponsors of the bill on behalf of the district's leadership team detailing what 6.3 would look like for Avon Lake if we were to lose that money each year. And I also noted in there that our community just supported us in an increase in an operating levy, and our district is not fully funded. We're at the 20 mil floor. There's a lot of repercussions if this were to occur. Obviously, it's just a proposal right now. We hope it will not go any further, but it would be a huge blow to the Avon Lake School District if we had to absorb $6.3 million a year.
And it wouldn't just be the schools that lose money. There would be all the other entities that participate in that, the library, the city.
Correct, yes.
And the county.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from just to, in layman's process,
Sure.
A bill like this gets introduced and it's part of the budget that is being voted on, or is it separate?
This is a separate one. The budget right now is working out the compromises between the House and the Senate versions. It looks like that education funding will be stable in the budget bill. Not that we would see any type of increase, but at least we would not see any hits on our state budget. Federal funding is a different story. We are expecting a hit on federal funding. Typically, at this point in time, we have our allocations for the next school year. We do not right now. We were told to plan for 50% right now on certain grants and then 0% on other grants. So that's where we're starting with, and we know we'll receive more than that, but the message seems to be that it's probably going to be a 10 to 20% hit on federal funds this year, which is special education, Title I. Right now, the proposal is that there would be no money in Title IIA for professional development. There's also right now no money in English language learners, no money in homeless, and so we're waiting to see what happens there, but the state has basically said typically you have till July 1st to get your federal grant application in. The grant portal is not even open yet, and it's June 17th, and we've been told they will extend the deadline because the state has not received an allocation from the federal government.
So with the back to the inside millage, put the federal government aside, what would be the effective date of that change if it was passed? Is it next January 1st, or is it effective this beginning of this fiscal year? How does that work even?
So typically when a bill passes, they typically go into effect 90 days after the governor signs it. Since it doesn't look like it's going to occur this legislative session, since they're almost through, it probably would be looking at a year from now before anything like that would take place.
And it was introduced within the last 60, 90 days?
Probably less than 60 days, because I know when we saw the information, we all started working on it. I know at the county level, they're trying to get a snapshot of what it would look like for county government, for all the school districts and so forth. I mean, we quantified for them various things that would total up to 6.3 million, just as an example, and it's significant. That's just a huge. It's 12% of our budget.
So anyone questioning, like, well, why didn't we consider this when we put our levy in the ballot? We had to put our amendments, or to put the $3 million a year ballot on. We started, what was the first one, December? And so this bill was introduced 90 days after we had already put our issue on the ballot.
Yeah, this is one of several anti-tax proposals that are out there in Ohio. One is, obviously, there's a group trying to eliminate property taxes altogether. And then there's one that's looking at punishing school districts if they have more than 50% of
cash
balance. So we aren't in that situation. That wouldn't affect us right now. But the property tax one obviously would be a huge hit for a district like us that receives only $803 per student from the state, and 90% of our local funds cover the cost of education for a Avon Lake student.
So just let me ask a clarifying question so I've got this straight, so that as the activists here in Avon Lake, which I do align to, continue to start to convene people because we're starting to get energy around this. Do we have a year to kind of bring voice to this House Bill 335?
I don't know that we have a year. I know I sent letters already to both Nathan Manning, Gail Manning, Joe Miller.
I'm clarifying because Jim, I think you were asking the question of
Yeah.
when we can expect.
Yeah, like when would this go into effect?
It would-
When
so-
do they vote on it? When do they?
Well, the current session ends June 30th,
So if they don't vote on
if they
it,
don't vote on it by June 30th, it would come back up again when they start again in the fall. So, June 30th.
it's 90 days after whenever they would
Correct.
pick
Any
that
law
up.
takes effect unless it has an emergency clause 90 days after the governor signs it, unless there's something specific that gives a different date.
It seems a little crazy though, because there's, the way, it's not like we get our tax payments monthly, for this law to go into effect in 90 days, when the levy that we just passed, we don't even collect on until January 1st, even though it was voted on in May. So a little incongruent with the timing, so. Well, if you or Joelle get any further updates on this, please keep us in the loop with that. I know it would be just catastrophic for districts all over the state, not just our district, so.
I think that's what doesn't make sense to me is if you eliminate, it's going to turn so many places upside down.
Yeah, they haven't been able to plan
It'll
for
just drive
this.
chaos.
And in the school district world, such a small percentage of districts even have income tax or other levies to generate the revenue. Virtually every district is funded almost entirely through property taxes. So to make this sweeping of a change without some sort of phase-in, or, we've been through the history where there's been other statewide tax changes like the elimination of personal property tax and the start of the CAT tax, but those things were all phased in over time. This would be just devastating to a lot of districts. So let's hope it doesn't go that direction. Any other questions for Jack on that?
I just think that we need to be very proactive about how we keep the community informed around this, because I think the last thing we want to do is not be thinking about opportunities to engage and educate because of the fact that if you're not in the details, you're not following it.
Yeah.
You just aren't. Most people are not paying that close of attention, and it's just because they've got a lot of other things going on. So I would just encourage us to think about what a communication strategy looks like, because there may be a need to go back and ask at some sooner time than we would have hoped, right? I'm not saying it's tomorrow, but it's a financial.
I'll try and
harm.
have an update for you
Yeah.
next week at the special meeting as
I
well.
won't be there, but
Yeah.
And again, this is not just a school district issue. This
I
is
get
Yeah.
every taxing authority issue with the inside millage.
If there's been one consistent thing that we've had to deal with over time, is these mixed messages we get every time there's a budget cycle, every time there's proposed legislation. We find out about it, it's in the media, it changes, and then we have to react to it. And in this case, hopefully this is one that doesn't even make it any further than proposal. But I can think back to prior two-year budgets where we've had things like this come up, and our preliminary information that we're given is much different than when the actual budget is approved, let alone a bill on the side like this that would completely overwrite our existing financial structure. So thanks for keeping us in the loop, and we'll try to make a point at each of our meetings to make sure that we update our community for those who are listening to our meetings about this. All right, next we'll move on to the treasurer's consent items. Ms. Reed?
Thank you. For your consideration tonight, we do have a lot of normal business for this time of year. We do not have a board meeting in July, so a lot of the July business we try and put on our June regular board agenda, and anything that we would miss, we do try and also put on our special board meeting, which will be June 26th at 7:30 in the morning. But we do have some advances, return of advances and transfers listed here. Some of this is due to the elimination of certain programs, so we're moving those balances into other accounts. We have our appropriation amendments and approval of then and now. Those are standard monthly business for us. a contract with NWEA, which is our MAPS testing for the upcoming school year. We have a contract with Business Map, as well as an agreement with Rivian Mental Health and Recovery. Those are both for the upcoming school year as well. So one item of business we put on every year at this time is the renewal of our commercial property fleet and liability, as well as cyber coverage. So this year, we are looking at a 17% increase in cost. What Ned and I have been told by Alera, which is the group that we use, it used to be Todd Associates, they have said that they're saying in their book of business with schools about a 22% increase. So we were less than that at 17%, but nonetheless, still an increase for us this year for the upcoming policy year.
Just a quick question on that. Is there any change with like closing a building for next year? Did that have a positive impact on us by lowering our risk, or is it really not a significant enough event?
At this point, there's no adjustments for that in the policy, but as we get closer to that time period, if that building would no longer be on our book of business, we would need to reduce the liability coverage that we cover for that building. However, your review is still on our property. We're still responsible for everything with that building, the contents of that building.
Okay.
So we have kept it on our liability coverage. So we would have an amendment, just like you would with your own homeowner's policy if there's a change.
Okay.
We have a memorandum of understanding with Ashland University's Dwight Scharr College of Education for the upcoming year. We also have a service agreement with the ESC of Lorain County for professional development, as well as a service agreement with the Mental Health Addiction Recovery Services Board of Lorain County. An addendum to the master agreement with DSS Holdings. Dedicated School Staffing does provide some of our substitutes on a classified side or non-teaching side. We have an amendment to the Ombudsman's program for alternative education for the upcoming school year through actually the 27-28 school year. We have a contract on for T3 weight room training services for the upcoming school year, as well as an agreement with HeartSpring to provide services for a student that is for a partial year through January 26th of 2026. And those are all of the treasurer's consent items for tonight.
Any questions on those items? This isn't a question about those agenda items, but while we're here, for anyone listening, maybe you could just kind of clarify why we need to have another meeting at the end of June at a high level.
Sure. So we have to close out the current fiscal year that we're in, which is fiscal year 25. And then we also have to open up our new fiscal year, fiscal 26. So at the special board meeting, we finalize all of our numbers because those have to be to the county auditor by June 30th. And then we also have to have to the county auditor our appropriations to get us started for the next school year.
Okay.
And that's a 7 a.m. meeting. No.
Oh, yes,
It's
thank you. It's at 7.
7:30.
Yes,
7 or
thank
7
you.
a.m. or
7 a.m.
7 a.m.
Okay.
And it is here in our Lake Center where we're located right now.
Okay. I know it's usually a very short agenda, but we will look forward to doing that business then. Any other questions on the treasurer's consent items? Okay, I have a motion to approve the treasurer's consent.
I so move.
Second.
Roll, please.
Mrs. Opaskar?
Yes.
Mrs. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Stobie?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, we have 4 discussion action items on the treasurer's report.
The first, item A, is the authorization to purchase a school bus. We received bids through Ohio School Council early in May, and this is for the purchase of one school bus, which will total $140,588. We do have a trade-in of bus number 12, which is a bus from 2003, that will be in the amount of $2,500.
Okay.
We kept that bus running for 22 years.
We have, absolutely, first of all, amazing mechanics. And by adding the addition of the transportation center back in 2010, it really has extended the life of our buses. You know, just like our cars at home, if you park them in a garage, they will last longer. So kudos to our transportation department and our mechanics for the great work that they do.
All right, can I have a motion to approve the school bus bid?
I so move.
Second.
Roll, please.
Mrs. Opaskar?
Yes.
Mrs. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Stobie?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next item.
Item B is a resolution declaring transportation impractical for the 25-26 school year. This is very normal business for this time of year. We are required by law to transport students who live within, 30 minutes, Ned? 30 minutes of our boundaries. And Exhibit A will show you which different facilities we're going to be not transporting to, and we will do payment in lieu of transportation, which is a payment that we will make to the guardian of the students who attend these facilities. And this is something that we do every year. The law requires us to approve this so many days in advance of the upcoming school year.
Dr. Lauber, where is Westside Christian Academy? Do you know that? It's in Westlake. Okay. Yeah, in reviewing this list, a lot of these are parochial Catholic schools. So I know this is normal business. Can I have a motion to approve the declaration for impractical transportation?
So moved.
Second.
Roll, please.
Mrs. Gardner?
Yes.
Mrs. Opaskar?
Yes.
Mr. Stobie?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, next item.
The item C on the agenda is an agreement with Hart Asphalt for our summer asphalt maintenance and repairs projects. So we recently accepted bids for this project, and Hart Asphalt is the lowest responsible bidder at $157,799.
And this is paving for what part of our property? Dr. Lauber, I should let you answer that question.
See if this is, there we go.
Yep.
So this is just about every building except for Erie View. We can delay some maintenance on that property for now because of the closure. There will be significant work here at the high school. Mainly, we're talking about crack filling, seal coating, general asphalt maintenance at most of the buildings. I think some of the bulk of the work is here where we've repaved several lots over the years and they are in need of some TLC to keep them up and running, particularly because of the traffic that we take here at the high school and the large trucks that come in and deliveries and everything else that goes on in this campus. But I believe every campus except for Erie View will get at least a little bit of attention from this bid. And I will point out that we did see a little bit of bid day savings on this project. The estimated cost for the project was $175,000. So we saw a little bit of bid day savings. We had, I think, 4 or 5 firms that came to the bid opening.
Any questions on the asphalt project? Can I have a motion to approve the asphalt agreement with Hart Asphalt?
I so move.
Second.
Roll, please.
Mrs. Opaskar?
Yes.
Mrs. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Stobie?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next item is the track repair project.
Yes, so we have a track repair project over at our Learwood Elementary School, and the lowest responsible bidder is Vasco Sports Contractors at a cost of $791,353.
So again, the estimate was much higher than that initially, 853,000.
Yes.
Just for someone who is not maybe as familiar with this, when we do the construction eventually with the new building, how will that affect the track and the stadium at Learwood?
So because of where the new building is potentially slated to go, we've already presented the track project to Then Design Architecture. We're working with a different firm on the track, but they are aware of the plans and we gave them the drawings. So there's enough space between where we're planning to put the new facility and the existing stadium to where we're still planning on having, an expanded fire road back there between the new building and the track. It actually potentially brings in the possibility of bringing those facilities together. Right now, the track is pretty well separated from Learwood. That's a hike to get back there. There's not a lot of restroom facilities, et cetera. So I think there are some opportunities in the future to build off the back of what I will just call New Learwood right now, and to bring that together with that track and stadium facility. So we're pretty excited about it.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you. That was the question I had, but
Yeah.
I appreciate that we've done that work, which is helpful.
Yeah, I mean, if we could put, whether it's a concrete path or whatever, I know that is an area that gets super wet back there during the spring, so it'd be great to connect those. Perfect. So can I have a motion to approve the Learwood track repair project?
So moved.
Second.
Roll, please.
Mrs. Gardner,
Yes.
Mrs. Opaskar,
Yes.
Mr. Stobie.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next, we'll move on to the superintendent's consent items. And Dr. Deavy, would you go through those?
Sure. We have several employment recommendations, our tutors, and also we have additional compensation for either curriculum council members or a couple people for additional class periods. We have 3 revision of contracts under certified and classified. We also have employment. We have some probationary employees, a couple resignations, a retirement, and several changes of contract on the classified staff as well. Then we go into our building supplementals, and we have a lot of building supplementals that we have listed here. These are for next school year. We also have athletic supplementals for our fall sports. We do not have any salary changes due to hours for this agenda, and we have no revisions of previously approved items. Oh, I'm sorry, yes we do. We have the revision of the people who were previously approved with their new salary amounts based on the salary schedule for next school year. Item G, we have several leaves of absences to approve. On Friends of the School, we have donations from the Harlem Wizards fundraising and community game. We had donations in the amount of $5,500 from University Hospitals and $5,561 from Avon Lake Travel Basketball. We also had donations from Dr. Ken Remy, from Mr. Ari Zeko, Whitgard Protection Services, PTSA gifts to Avon Lake High School totaling just over $13,000, gifts to Redwood from their PTSA totaling just over $7,000, and gifts to Eastview from their PTSA totaling just over $12,000. We have a approval request for the chorale and orchestra trip to Chicago next February. And then we have the student school handbooks for LEAPS, the elementary students, Troy, Learwood, and the athletic code of conduct for approval. The high school will be on the special agenda. They were making some last minute changes to theirs. On K, we have a couple changes and modifications to both the administrator handbook and the exempt employee handbook. And then on item L, we have revision of a previously approved agenda item, which was a resignation. And that is the end of the consent items.
Any questions on the superintendent's consent items? Pretty short list tonight and fairly normal business. All right, could I have a motion to approve the superintendent's consent items?
I so move.
Second.
Roll, please.
Mrs. Opaskar?
Yes.
Mrs. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Stobie?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Quick question for you. What's that? I don't know. It was a strange. I'm just.
Oh, no, there's just a placeholder if we need more discussion.
Okay.
Yep, we're good. They have that for the superintendent, too. All right, next we'll move on to the superintendent's discussion action items. Dr. Debe, can you kind of walk through those?
Sure.
We have to vote on each
The
one.
first one is the adoption of the Avon Lake Board of Education Policy Manual. This represents the culmination of transitioning from OSBA to Neola policies, and this adopts all of the policies, and then the link there will go live on the website following board adoption. And then the work in next school year is to update the administrative guidelines, which do not need adoption under Neola policies as long as they're conformed to the policy that the board adopts.
Okay, I know we talked about that last month briefly. Any questions on the adoption of the policy manual? Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll, please.
Second.
Roll, please.
Mrs. Gardner?
Yes.
Mrs. Opaskar?
Yes.
Mr. Stobie?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. Item B is to approve a grievance settlement agreement.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the grievance settlement agreement?
I so move.
Second.
Roll, please.
Mrs. Opaskar?
Yes.
Mrs. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Stobie?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item C is to approve an MOU between the district and ALEA to utilize Teacher Salary Schedule A and Supplemental Salary Schedule A for both the 25-26 and 26-27 school years. During negotiations, we had several different salary schedules that were presented based on looking at cash balances at the end of each fiscal year, and this agreement allows us to use Schedule A.
Can I have a motion to approve item C, the memorandum of understanding?
I so move.
Second.
Roll, please.
Mrs. Opaskar?
Yes.
Mrs. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Stobie?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item D.
Item D is to change the resignation date for an employee, and that's related to retirement purposes.
Okay. Pretty straightforward. Do you have a motion to approve the resolution to approve the revised resignation date?
I so move.
Second.
Roll, please.
Mrs. Opaskar?
Yes.
Mrs. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Stobie?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. Item E is a reduction in force. In this case, this is for classified lunch monitors due to the closure of Erie View.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the resolution for the reduction in force for the non-teaching employees?
I so move.
Second.
Roll, please.
Mrs. Opaskar?
Yes.
Mrs. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Stobie?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Dr. Debe, did you have anything else today?
I do not, unless there's any other questions.
I guess this is the first time we've met since commencement, and you know, it always hits home when we hand out diplomas. Just you know, the culmination of just all the amazing efforts of all of our staff to get our teachers to that, or to get our students to that milestone. I know it was special this year with Mr. Sherman having his son come across the stage, and it was also special that it amazingly started raining like 2 minutes after we handed the last diploma, so thankful for the weather gods on that one. But that was a great evening and a great celebration of our class of 2025.
It was wonderful, and
Speakers
went
were
there.
amazing.
Yeah, everything was great. And I'm looking around the table, and I see you, Mr. Stobie, and I see Autumn Reed sitting next to me. We'll both be handing diplomas to their children next year.
Yes, don't remind me about that, but yes, it's coming. It's coming.
Very bittersweet.
So, All right, Kendra, Gail, anything else? Anything else? All right, could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Roll, please.
Mrs. Gardner,
Yes.
Mrs. Opaskar,
Yes.
Mr. Stobie.
Yes.
Motion carries. The meeting is adjourned at 6:41 PM.
Thank you.